Howdy folks, thanks for watching and welcome to yet another edition of Smarter Money Matters. It really does, especially being smart with your money. And I'm Dr. Jeff Camarda, your wealth doctor, of course, joined by our super CFPs, Anna Wunderlich and Lou Versil. And today's final topic on winning with Camarda, or the final of the five major points, is one of the hallmark things that really sets us apart is our, we've been honored really to have ongoing, very robust national recognition, which we'll talk about here in a second. But first, I want to remind you to make sure that you're aware of our new Minute Wealth service to you, which is ongoing daily concentrated wealth education, 60 seconds or less. Which I think you'll find extremely entertaining and useful. We talk about Roth conversions and how to minimize your taxes and the secrets of estate planning and why you want to use living trusts and all kinds of really, really valuable little nuggets in very digestible bits of 60 seconds or less. Please check it out. Watch it, follow it, share it. You can get direct access to whatever your favorite medium is, be it Instagram or Facebook or whatever. If you go to thewealthdoctor.info, thewealthdoctor.info, Megan has got put a really, really good dashboard there for you, so you can pick exactly what you want and it'll take you right to where you need to watch the videos. So back to winning with Camarda. Over the past few weeks, we talked about the first 4 points, which are number one, we're drop-dead fiduciaries. Unlike something like 90% of advisors, we're very rare in that we don't take any compensation other than fully disclosed fees, no commissions, no side deals, nothing that would dilute our objective of serving your interests only, which is still quite rare. True fiduciaries, not two-hat fiduciaries that can call themselves a fiduciary, also have a life insurance or an annuity or a stock brokerage commission license, and they can switch hats and get a commission and maybe they didn't notice. That unfortunately happens quite a bit. We don't play that game. Second is really, really high levels of education, PhD, the Masters in Tax Law from Georgetown Law, CFAs, CFPs, MOUSEs, all kinds of stuff. You're very, very concentrated education, and I'm not aware of any firm anywhere that is nearly as expert, maybe there are some out there, we're not aware of any, as we are. Really, really high quality expertise. Third difference is we offer not only portfolio management, which is really pretty much all you get in most other advisors, not everybody, but most other advisors. For the same fee, we include estate planning and asset protection, ongoing tax planning, a specific schedule quarter by quarter, which we'll get into in following weeks to make sure that we keep you tuned up on an ongoing basis. The fourth thing is that we're very proactive investment managers. We watch the markets constantly, prepared to make those moves that we think are necessary to maximize your upside and minimize your downside. And the fifth difference is really constant national recognition. We've been fortunate, as probably many of you know, to be named by the folks like Barron's and Forbes and many others as a top advisor, which is a pretty lofty, honor, and we're very proud of that. Also, to be repeatedly recognized in the financial press. I've been interviewed repeatedly by Barron's and Bloomberg and more folks that I can remember. We've had feature articles in the Wall Street Journal, and just a lot of ongoing national buzz and folks that think we're pretty good at what we do and we're newsworthy. So, with that as a backdrop, I know that there was a whole bunch of information. Is this something that you guys talk about with your clients? Are they as aware of it as we are, you think? Lou, why don't you start? Oh, you already did. Sorry.
Sure, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think so. I think they are for the most part. Certainly this is something that we cover on our quarterly service calls and obviously onboarding with new clients and stuff like that. But, we kind of look at the way I position it to clients. We are a small enough firm so that you can feel as part of their family and you have that touch with your advisor, but at the same time we're nationally recognized. So if you get the same benefit and same hopefully proceeds and benefits, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Like working with a larger nationally recognized national firm because we're again, but with that personal family touch.
You're the best of both worlds. We're small enough that you can call. I'll take your phone call, and these guys, we care about you and your family as friends and family members. You know, you're not just a number in an institution, but on the other hand, you're getting nationally recognized expertise in concentrated, wealth management, the quality, that is well beyond the reach of most firms that are much larger than us. So I think it's kind of a nice niche. Anna, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, how easy it is for people, someone to get a advisory license, right? Doesn't take much time. You can study and kind of memorize your way through it and get licensed, right? But this type of recognition is something that sets us apart from any, advisor down the street that gets those licenses, right? Being recognized by these important, in our industry, Forbes, Barron's, those types of institutions, right? And we're not paying for that recognition. They're on their own, looking for firms like Camarda to give that recognition to. So it just, it helps advisors it helps clients and prospects that we bring on board, really be able to see what sets us apart.
But it's really a very rare accolade and honor. It's the sort of thing that most advisors or most businesses and whatever the industry aspire to, but only a very, very tiny fraction make that cut for the various criteria that Forbes, Barron's, and others require. So we're really humbled by that, and you should feel good about your selection of us as an advisor, knowing that these institutions that are enormously respected and knowledgeable, think enough of us to put us on this list. I guess is a good way to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're very, very excited. As you go through and talk to these guys on your ongoing advisory calls, let them know how interesting this series, Winning with Camarda, is to you, because we got a lot more pages in the book, and you know what? I've written another probably 30, since this was published. So we got plenty of stuff to talk about, which is really translates in, we think, into significant benefits for you, and we'd love to continue sharing it with you if you find it interesting. So before we go, remember, check out Minute Wealth. Go to thewealthdoctor.info, thewealthdoctor.info. I think you'll find it enormously. It's really, got to tell you, I'm astonished at the quality, not just in, in what I say, of course, but the cameras and the sets and everything like that. It's getting really exciting, that the quality of videos that we're able to produce for you guys. So please check that out. Share with your friends and family. Any parting thoughts, Lou or Anna?
No.
That's all we got.
That's all.
It's a wrap.
That's enough, right? It's a wrap. Cut. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, because I'm Jeff. This is Anna. Say goodbye, Lou.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right, see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.